guys, Shane here, Fugatech 3D Printing, and I'm here with Andrew from 3D Gloop. And tell me about yourself and what it is you're making here.
Hey, so I'm Andrew. I'm a mechanical engineer by trade, and we have 3D Gloop. We're a startup company, and we're in our Kickstarter phase right now. And we made a product that's a multi-use 3D printing adhesive.
Okay, so you say multi-use. What multi-use are you using it for?
So the shortest version for multi-use for our product is that you can use it for build plate adhesion, for part adhesion, and for part smoothing.
Okay. Now, tell me about how we're using it on your build plate. I saw you have different types here. Tell me about the different types.
Okay, so we've got PLA and we've got ABS. We've got two different types of Gloop here right now. We have a PETG Gloop as a prototype that we're working on releasing with our Kickstarter campaign too. What you can do with it for a bed adhesive is you take a little bit of it and you open it up, and it has a brush applicator. And you brush on a couple thin layers, and then you print on that. And what happens is that there's actually PLA in the PLA Gloop, and there's ABS in the ABS Gloop, along with some proprietary elastomers and adhesives. And they'll stick to that, and then your print won't come off the print bed. Our claim to fame, is that you can print ABS on a room temp build platform. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Yes.
So we recommend that you heat your build platform from anywhere from 40 to 70°C. 70°C for ABS gets better results, especially if you've got a lot of support or anything that's small and might break off. For PLA, you can get away with 40°C on your build platform, but don't go above 80. 80°C and up on your build platform will cause the elastomers and the different adhesives to start to break down, and you'll end up with a release material instead of an adhesive.
So you just do that, it's just going to slide right off basically?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And now tell me about using this as a glue.
So as a glue, you can get some of the best adhesion between two parts you can out of any product that's out there. It's pretty simple. You can use the same brush on applicator, and you put a little bit on one side of one surface and some Gloop on the other side, and you end up pressing your pieces together. After you let them sit and the glue cures, you're going to have the strongest bond that you could have. These two pieces right here are actually both PLA, and they're adhered together incredibly strong.
Let's give that a shot here real quick. So you take it outside, I'm going to pull here. I mean, that's pretty strong right there. I mean, I hate to pull you over and knock you on your table, but I'd say that's pretty doggone strong. And so, is that pretty much going to be better than using a super glue then?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone who's used super glue, I know all my experience with it is that I'll glue a couple pieces together, and if I do as much as drop them on the floor, they sometimes want to break apart. If I use a lot of it, I get better luck with it. I've never gotten a great bond with super glue, and I'm not a big fan of using messy two-part epoxies because I also don't get great bond strength for the hassle that it is to use them. And
that's also really thick, so you actually lose a lot, like your tolerances can be affected because it's so thick when you use epoxies. And then we were saying, so this basically will melt the two pieces together, correct?
Yeah, it actually kind of breaks down the first layers that the Gloop is on, and it fuses the prints together.
Okay, and that's the same for the PLA, ABS, and eventually the PETG, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you've got some test tubes here, or some syringes. Can we talk about what that just specifically is?
So this is specifically Gloop. It comes in these syringes. It's a lot like what we have in the brush-on jars, but it's a lot thicker. So rather than being runny, how that was, like you saw, it's more like a gel. So if you're going to adhere, small pieces to a print, or you've got more precision stuff, it works great for that. You can also use it on bigger applications. If this is what you have, it's going to be a fantastic adhesive to hold parts together. It's essentially what's in those jars, but thicker. Makes some jobs a lot easier.
And this is strictly glue only, where your jars are the 3-in-1, all.
Yeah, this is only for the glue. You really aren't going to be able to use it as a print bed adhesive, and you're not going to be able to use it for part smoothing just because of the nature, with how thick it is. Okay, and now tell me about the smoothing part we talked about. So the smoothing part, there's been a couple videos out there that touch on it. You can apply the Gloop to the prints. If you don't mind, I'll grab this.
Yeah, grab it.
And you can end up smoothing and bonding your layer lines together. So you get the benefit of you're getting rid of the layer lines, but at the same time, it's not like an epoxy that sits on top of and covers the print. You keep a lot more of your mechanical tolerances, and it actually fuses these layers together, so you have a much stronger print in the end from it.
Great. And then kind of what we talked here, if you back up for a second, I want to show here the weights. You've got 50 pounds sitting on this print, and it's basically this one right here, suspended off a bolt, and it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
50 pounds is no little amount of weight, so that's quite impressive. That glue joint, that, what'd you say, is half an inch?
Yeah, this is
what's holding that there.
It's a half a square inch, and this blue piece, or the pink piece there, was actually printed in a vertical orientation. So the layers are, they separate like that.
Yep. So it's the least optimal way you could print it.
Yes.
And it's working out that way.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, so one thing we forgot to mention is, how do you get this off the bed? Like, how easy is it to remove from the print bed, or how would you go about doing that?
So print removal isn't much more challenging than it can be if you have a really good stick with a glue stick. If you print on a room temperature build platform, which again you can do, not necessarily recommended, it is harder to remove the print than if you had the bed heated and it cooled down. But for PLA, easier release. Sometimes you can typically break it off by just moving the print, especially for stouter prints. If not, we like to use, I don't know where it is, the Buildtech spatula, and kind of work it under a corner, or like the scraper that came with the CR10, and you start lifting a corner and the print just peels off. Same thing with ABS. ABS takes just a little bit more force than PLA.
Okay, great. Sounds like it should be pretty simple.
Yep.
Great. Okay, now tell me, where can someone see this? Where can they get it?
So right now we're on Kickstarter. If you go to Kickstarter and look up 3D Gloop, or you can go to our website at 3dgloop.com, we've got a banner that will take you to the Kickstarter. That ends on July 1st, is when our run for funding for that ends. After we get Gloop out to our backers, then we'll open up sales for just regular people.
And when can the backers, when do backers expect to get the product?
So right now we've got a target date of finishing getting things shipped out to backers by the end of August.
Okay. So just about a 2-month time frame. That's not too bad. So where can they find you on social media?
We're on Instagram, and we do have a Facebook. We're relatively active on both. We're not incredibly active. As far as activity goes, I do check the messages every day, pretty frequently throughout the days. We have a Twitter. We just don't use it that much.
Okay, great. So I thank you. This should be a pretty interesting product, and we're going to go here in a minute. We'll get some B-roll of you kind of removing this from the bed so they can kind of see what that looks like. Awesome. So thank you for your time, Andrew.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing your product.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.